Good morning, my name is Paul and I'm going to talk about today's art project. Today we are going to make a mini stage set or a model, and for this project I want you to imagine two animals having a conversation about how the humans are behaving differently in the current times from their point of view. Make two animals of your choosing to have a conversation and create a freestanding flat cutout characters, which could be drawings or collages. Make speech bubbles for your animal characters. What conversations would they have? You'll then create a backdrop for these characters. The characters and the backdrop could be drawn or they could be collaged. Okay, so let's get on with today's task.
Box, paper or card, pencil and ruler, scissors, glue stick, sticky tape, pens, cocktail sticks, plasticine and blue tack, needle and thread.
So to build our stage set we need a box. So this could be any type of box. For today's project I don't need the lid, so I'm going to cut that off completely. So now we're going to draw our characters. So here's the fun part. So we need our paper or stiff card. Now it's very important when you draw your characters out that you don't draw them touching the bottom of the paper or card. But I've left this space underneath here, which is very important. And I'm going to take my ruler and draw almost like a rectangle or box, about 3 centimeters, which should be deep enough because that's going to help the duck stand up in our stage set. So my story involves a duck, but also involves a crow. And again, exactly the same principle. I've left a space below him to draw about a 3 centimeter rectangle. Can you see what's going to happen next? Because I've done a quick faint outline for a third character. That's a big human, full-size human. The final element is a big piece of white bread. So you can imagine what this story might be. There's a human walking along, maybe along the canal, and there's a very interested duck and a very interested crow. Because I said we're going to cut these characters out, so I'm going to get my scissors and I'll start with the duck. Okay, so there's our duck. So then what we need to do with this is make the duck stand up. And this is where the ruler comes in very useful. A nice metal ruler is very useful for this. So what I'm going to do is put the ruler, let's turn this over so we can see what we're doing. Put the ruler on the join and fold it up to the edge. Okay, so we've got a fold now, and then I can turn that fold the other way too. And there we go. What we have, you can see at least an angle, is the duck can now, I'll put it onto the green so you can see, can now stand up. So next we'll cut out our crow. A duck and a crow. The final thing on this page, not including the bread, we need to cut the bread out, is the person. Finally, I'm going to quickly cut out our piece of bread because we'll need that too. And there we go. So we have all the elements for our little drama, our mini play. So, our duck and our crow, what might they be saying? What do they say in animal language? The duck might go quack. The crow, a little bit more difficult maybe. But I think maybe caw. I'm going to think a little bit more imaginatively about what that duck might say, because I think actually, rather than just going quack, it comes out longer, like quack. But we can use our imagination and intuition here. So instead of quack, we can have quack. Like so. So it's a longer drawn out quack. So I think my duck's going to say that. But what is he going to say in the human interpretation? Well, I think for today's little story, this human is walking along the canal and dropping a big slice of bread. But the problem is that so many humans are taking walks every day because they're out of work temporarily because of the lockdown, that there's so much bread being given to the birds, and this duck is so fat and stuffed with bread that he might be thinking, no more bread. Duck, human. But the crow might be more hungry, more desperate. So he's going caw, and he might be saying the opposite. Want some? Gimme. So quack, quack, no more bread. Caw, want some? Gimme. So now we're going to draw our speech bubbles. And here's one I've cut out as an example. And it's about the right size, I think, for our duck. And for this, I'm going to actually fold our card in half. I'll explain this in a minute. So I'm going to do the duck language on one side, quack, quack. And what I did, I cut that on the fold here, because I want to use the other side for the human interpretation, which is no more bread. And I'm trying to do this in a sort of slanted capital style. Obviously I've done this very quickly, but it's a bit like comic books. Okay. And remember what the crow was going to say. He was going to go caw, and his English translation, or human translation, or any language translation, Polish translation, Dutch translation, would be want some. I've run out of space there. Gimme. He's not very needy. He really wants that bread. He's much hungrier than the duck. The next stage is to make stands for our speech bubbles. And remember, I introduced cocktail sticks. These are going to be very useful. And these are nice designs. They've got a nice flat broad section like a palette on the bottom. So these are just from my local supermarket. I've also got some plasticine. So you could also use something like glue tack if you don't have plasticine. So here's a ball of plasticine. And I think I'm going to use the paddle bit in the plasticine because that will give me a nice sturdy base. So then all we need to do is attach our speech bubble onto the top. And this is why I made it in two, so we could just put it over the top like this. And it allows us to present both sides. We need to stick that down so it's firm and together. Sellotape's fine, it's clear. And just wrap it around the point of the speech bubble. And we'll do the same again for our quack, for our duck. Okay, so we have our speech bubbles now. Now here comes an exciting part. We can arrange everything inside the box. So I'm going to return to my box that I prepared earlier. I'm going to start arranging things in. So I'm going to place my person in the back like so. There you go. Now I think we'll arrange where the ducks go. Before I put the ducks in and the crow and then what they're saying, I'm going to put the bread in. So the bread could be falling through the air like so. This is a pre-prepared needle, and you will probably need adult supervision to do this. But it's a thread which has been threaded through the needle as a loop, and a knot tied in the end. So it's a standard looped needle and thread. So what I'm going to do is use this to, I'll take it off the support card, actually attach my piece of bread so it looks like it's being dropped down to the ground and it's in mid-air. So it's a bit of creativity. Okay, so I've made a hole through the card. I'm going to put my needle through and put it through almost to the end, not quite, and then I'm going to put it through the loop like so. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again with the top of the box, but for this I'm going to make it slightly easier to make a hole. I'm going to use my pair of scissors and put it approximately where I think I want the hole to be again. So I'm going to thread the loop through, work out roughly where I want the height of it. I think about there, and then I can loop it through like so and put it tight. Okay, so we're about ready to arrange our duck and our crow and what they're saying. Okay, what we have now is a 3D box, and I'm going to just turn this around and show you my model stage set. Okay, so we can see the crow going caw, and the duck going quack, quack, and the bread tumbling through the air.